Hello everybody, welcome back to video 44 in this playlist. I was preparing lecture notes to get ready for a summer camp with high schoolers, and these videos were supposed to be for editing my lecture notes. This is going to be a little bit long. It's still kind of working for that purpose, but uh, it wasn't going to be this example. This general idea was a little bit big for that, so I'm going to have to edit it down some, but I wanted to finish the videos out here. We're 44 videos in, so we've been doing a lot for developing this game. Uh, there's only a couple steps left, which is really generate a whole bunch of the aliens for us to run around and fight, and then a boss scene. So let's go ahead and generate the aliens. And in the previous video, or maybe a couple videos back, I was just kind of talking, and at first I was going to generate them randomly around the world. And it suddenly popped in my mind while I was talking that if I just generate them at the ship position, they'll just drop down straight out of the ship. And that might be a good way. So maybe have them come down in teams, like 5 at a time. And maybe start with 45 seconds. Every 45 seconds, we'll drop 5 more aliens into the world. Uh, and that also adds the benefit that if our character starts a long way away, like this will probably be the starting position somewhere over here. Uh, and every few seconds it's generating more aliens, there's going to be more close to the ship so that it's harder for them to get there. Um, so I'm expecting a change. I'm going to get rid of this alien that was here for testing. Everything is built into, say, there's an object saved. It's down here under objects. We will need that in just a moment. So everything's saved. So the one in the level that we were using for testing, I'm going to get rid of that. And now we need a place to generate it. There's a number of places we could add a script just on the level itself. But at least in my mind, it makes sense that since the aliens will be dropping out of the ship, to just add to the script to the alien ship. So let's select that and add a node to that. Whoops, not add a node. Sorry. So don't add a node. Select that, and then this other button right over here, add a script. Or if we right click, we can see the full words. So instead of adding a node, we want to come down and attach a script to it. It's just going to be a basic script, nothing fancy. So just need to choose a place to store it. And this is creating a script is something we've definitely seen before. Alien ship's going to be a good name for it. So go ahead and create that. And I'm going to get rid of these comments. Because those are just kind of clutter here for the most part. All right, so there's really only a couple things we need to start generating the aliens. And hopefully the first of those is obvious, that we need a reference to that alien object we created. So I'm going to create a variable, and I'm going to call this alien class. These videos, I'm using Godot as the example. It has an easier learning curve than some of our other big game engines. So technically that should be called a scene in Godot, but for generalization, I'm going to call it the class. That's the design for our alien object. And to load that in, there's this built-in function called preload in Godot, but there's something similar, just slightly different syntax, whatever it takes to load in a reference to the actual object. Oh, whoops, that needs to be a string. So highlight all that and add quote marks around. There we go. So now we have a reference to our alien object, and I'll go ahead and set up a timer. This one's almost going to go in order. We've seen timers a few times, so we'll need a variable for, I'll call it another alien. Seems like a good name for it. That's going to be timer sort of data, and equal to timer.new. We've seen that. In a few different scripts. Oh, the strictly type thing. We can use in Godot. We can use it's based off Python, so we can use it as a dynamically typed language. But strictly typed languages are faster. If we set up the type ahead of time, it'll know what it is. When we do this, though, the type can be a little bit awkward. you're probably thinking it's alien, because that's what we called it down here, but you'll notice that gives us an error. So for something like this, I would recommend using the infer assignment so that it'll infer type, and then instead of figuring out at runtime what type of data it has, because that wastes CPU resources and makes the game run slower, it will look ahead and determine what type of data this is, and then set up exactly enough space in RAM for that. So then we don't waste resources figuring out what type of data we have. So we can switch it to a strictly typed language. We've seen a lot of that. So that gets our stuff. I'll go ahead and create the timer. So another alien timer. We'll connect it so that when it hits the timeout, and this has shown up in a lot of videos. We're 44 videos into game development, so we've seen a whole bunch of timers by this point. I'll make a function called generate. Oh, don't need the parentheses here, but I will copy that, create a new function called generate, and we'll make that in a moment. So then we need, what's our wait time on it? Wait time, my first thought is 45 seconds. And then we'll just run through a loop down here so that we generate 5 of these every 45 seconds. Maybe that'll give us a good number of aliens to combat. Another alien one shot. Well, no, false on the one shot, because we want to do that every 45 seconds. So now we can add that to our scene. So add child is kind of what happens when we come over here in the preparation stuff and hit the plus sign. It adds it as a child of the root node on our scene. So I'll add that timer in, and then we'll start that timer. And before we do that, I want to call this generate function one time. That way we don't have to wait 45 seconds to see if it happens. We start seeing our aliens immediately, and then the second group will come after 45 seconds. And then a loop is fairly straightforward. It's based on Python, so they have made it a little bit quicker. They included the generator. The generator is automatically, so unlike Python, we can kind of do this in the for loop. I'll make that error message go away. We can just say for I in 5, and that's like the same thing as saying in range of 5, and actually call the range generator from Python. And personally, since I tend to do a lot more coding in Python than GD or Godot script, I find it a lot more useful to just use the range function like normal Python. Both of them will work. And here we just want to generate that an instance of that class 5 times. So var alien, and I'll do the infer type assignment, and that's going to be our alien class dot it's instantiate. I'm in Godot 4. I don't see the numbers on the screen anymore. Up through Godot 3, it was dot instance, and this one kind of confused me. I had to go look it up as I was getting things ready, or on the first take of the video, I had to go look it up, because up through Godot 3, it was dot instance, but in Godot 4, they changed it to instantiate, which is kind of a better name for that, because we're doing the verb form of it. The method is the verb, and then the noun we create would be the instance. So they updated that. If you're in Godot 1 through 3, it's dot instance, and in Godot 4 they went ahead and switched that to instantiate. This is where we would set a start position. Set start position, and I'm just going to leave that as a comment now, because since this script is on the alien ship, it should instantiate it at the origin of our alien ship, which is right here, and then gravity will take over and just pull them down to the ground. So we should be able to see them fall and stuff. And yeah, Then all we need to do is add it to our scene. The same way we added the timer, which this is the script version of the little plus sign here, or right click and add child node. Add child is the script version of that, so we'll add that alien to the scene, or those 5 aliens to the scene. Let's move our character over where we can see that though. Our camera is part of our character, so I'm going to move it way over here by the ship somewhere. Still not by the ship. Get him by some ground, and where is the ground? I don't have a good angle here, do I? From there, hopefully we'll be able to see the aliens fall. They should fall out from the origin of that, which I think we are behind. Yeah, so they should fall from right here. And since our camera's part of our character, we'll be able to see it now. So let's give that a run. See if that worked. Debugger said got a little bug. Position on base null instance, and it's pointing here. So the target at player.position. Let's stop that. If we look up here, player. Oh, I see what happened. So we're creating this from the script. So from that script, we need to go up 1 layer to get to the alien ship, and then up another layer to get to the root node, and then we can go down to the player. And where our test one was at, we only went up 1 layer. So we need the file path syntax to go up 2 layers. Does that make sense? Script over to alien ship goes up, is up 1 layer, and then alien ship up to the root node is up a 2nd layer, and then from there we can get down to the player. I think that's what it was. The message stopped when I hit stop on the debugger, so hopefully that's what it was. So 1, 2, 3, 5 aliens dropped and started wandering around in different directions. And so basically we have 45 seconds to beat up those aliens before the next set will come. I guess I could do that quicker for debugging. For debugging purposes, let's turn that down to 45 or 5. Yeah. Just to make sure that's working. There's our first team of aliens. Then the second away team beams down. The third away team beams down. And they're running around, so we should be able to go chase them down. So now it's just a matter of finding the good speed for the character to run around at and the aliens to run around at, and find a balance, adjusting numbers until we find a good balance on all these things. So that's how we generate a bunch of aliens. If you wanted to start them at random spots around, you could just set the position here for whenever you do it, but making it putting the script on the ship, they'll just start at the position the script's at, and it kind of looks like they're beaming down. So if I go back to the player, because of our original cutscene, the player should be starting over here by the lake somewhere. And I like to start characters just slightly above the ground. Am I still above the ground there? I think that went under the ground. So that kind of looked like it'd be standing on the ground. I like to start characters just slightly above the ground so that in the first frame of the game it pulls down and then they'll be standing on the ground correctly. That's just the starting position I've kind of found I like over the years. Now, if we start running our game, our character will start over here somewhere. And if we look at the alien ship, it's too far away. I see little flashes in the background where the aliens are falling. So it's just a matter of finding a good balance in the numbers, the right speed for our character, the right speed for our aliens, the time between those away teams dropping out of the ship, and then we have our main combat scene. And in the next video, might be good to turn that sky energy down. Turn the sun energy down on the sky would make it dark nicely. And all that's left here really is the boss scene, and then we'll have a finished working draft. Well, we already have the cut scene for after the boss scene. So after we figure out how to get into the boss scene, like at what point do we go there, which I'm thinking we just run around the ship and smash some control panels, and in a small enclosed space there'll be like 20 aliens, so the challenge is to avoid them while we smash control panels, and then play that animation and cutscene at the end, and then we'll have a finished game. So I will see you in the next video where we finish that up. And there's absolutely nothing new. There won't be any new knowledge for that. We'll just make a model that looks like we're in the inside of something, and the models of the control panels that we need to smash in order to make the ship crash. And we've already seen switching between levels. So I'll see you in the next video and we'll get this finished up.